prefectures, we believe that we have had some requests for help from SDF. As for Fukushima, according to the police information, there can be a possible need for SDF to come and help. However, at this point in time, we have not yet any request from the prefecture of Fukushima for such SDF to be sent. At this point in time, in Tohoku, in various prefectures, and also the firefighting departments, are there any instances where you cannot get in touch with these agencies, or are there any information on these institutions to be hit? Well, at this point in time, we are confirming the situation for the details, and therefore, as soon as you are able to confirm the details, I believe that we'll be able to disclose such information. According to a report, there are some casualties, the number of casualties being reported. Do you know the numbers at this point? Well, we have been obtaining information from various sites of damage, but at this time we are concentrating our forces to stop the damage from expanding and to collect more information on the situation. So we will be announcing these information as soon as we compile the information. At this point in time, what we have to do is to respond to the need of relief and rescue. So there are many nuclear power plants in the places hit by the quake. What are the safety situation? Well, as the Prime Minister said in his comment, as for the nuclear power plant, at this point, there are no report of damage or radioactive waves from leaking. And we have organized a team at the Emergency Disaster Headquarters at the Prime Minister's office, and we are continuing to contact relevant sources to confirm that there is no damage to nuclear power plants. How about the highways, Shinkansen bullet trains, and those traffic infrastructure? What are the damage? Well, according to the second meeting of the headquarters of emergency disasters, in JR East Japan, for the Shinkansen bullet trains have stopped, but no derailment or other major accidents have been confirmed. But there are people who are trapped in the train which have stopped. So there we would have to provide some relief to these people in contacting the JR trains. And also we will get in touch with the police as well as firefighters to confirm safety of the people who are trapped inside the trains which have stopped.
And are you thinking about dispatching ministers or vice ministers to the disaster sites? The senior vice minister responsible for disaster relief is thinking about heading towards the disaster site. However, the disaster relief units in the local communities are placing priority on relief efforts and rescue efforts. That is more important. Therefore, we are preparing for cabinet ministers and government officials to go in as soon as possible. Regarding the aftershocks, about the likelihood of aftershocks, have you been updated by the meteorological agency? As a general rule, aftershocks are likely to occur. And regarding the tsunami, the first waves of tsunami have already hit, and the second batch and the third batch or the third waves of the tsunami may occur. So in that sense, we have to watch out and prepare for the aftershocks and the second and third waves of tsunami occurrences. So I ask the people of Japan to be vigilant and be prepared. This earthquake has hit during the Diet session. And when the earthquake hit during the Diet session, how did you feel? I'm sure you were in a session. I felt that it was a very large earthquake. I think we all did. That was immediately apparent. And we were in the midst of a committee session, but we asked the committee chairman, Tsuruho, to let some of us, including myself, return to the Prime Minister's official residence so that we can attend to the matter. And we went into the disaster response center, and we received information, and we reacted and responded to the information that we were receiving. In that sense, we are very grateful for Committee Chairman Tsuruho to have suspended the committee proceedings so that we could return to our Prime Minister's official residence. And related to that, for the government, the emergency response will be very important. And how we do this, including any cooperation necessary from the opposition bloc. So far, we are assessing the extent of the damage, and we're giving instructions to respond to the damage. And we are keeping in close touch with the senior vice ministers, and we are also in communication with heads of the various political parties. Our Secretary General and our Vice Deputy President are seeking cooperation from other parties. And the other political parties, given this situation, I have not been in direct contact with the other party leaders, but I am sure that we will have their understanding. So does that mean that for a while, Diet deliberations will be suspended? On details about that, our party officials are getting together with other party officials to discuss the matter, the opposition and the People's New Party. So the details will be taken care of by the party officials who are meeting. You mentioned the aftershocks and the second and third waves of the tsunamis. And what do you ask the people of Japan to do? First of all, regarding the tsunamis, alerts and warnings are out, and until these alerts and warnings are lifted, please do not go anywhere near the coast, or rather, please evacuate or escape to higher ground or onto the higher levels of very strong high buildings. Please continue to do so. And please do not try to judge by yourself what is safe and what is not. Please keep updated on the information issued by the meteorological agency. They'll be issuing alerts and warnings. So please have a good assessment and information on the situation in order to respond.
And on the aftershocks, as a general rule, we cannot ask everybody to do the same. Due to the aftershocks, there could be buildings that could be damaged once again. And there are people who are inside a strong, robust building, and it could be safer to remain inside the building. So it's really case by case. But at any rate, there are possibility of aftershocks. So therefore, those of you who are inside the buildings, please make sure that you do not be hit by furniture collapsing, even inside strong buildings. And if you're worried about the safety of the buildings, please try to evacuate to a safer place nearby. At any rate, please stay calm and act calmly. Going forward, would you be asking for support from the overseas? Well, already, partially, we have been having some offers to cooperate from foreign countries to the foreign ministry. So such information is now being sorted out. And, well, we've already had the earthquake a few hours ago. But first of all, it is the self-defense forces as well as our police who are trying to cope with the situation. But we are prepared to ask for future requests for relief from foreign countries. 7 years ago, we had earthquake in Niigata.
Okay, that was Yukio Edano, Chief Cabinet Secretary. Earlier on, of course, Prime Minister Naoto Kan speaking 2 hours and 25 minutes after a magnitude 8.4 earthquake hitting northern Japan. Edano explaining the situation and plans going forward for disaster relief, also calling on the public about the dangers of aftershocks and, as you can see, tsunamis that followed. And he tells his citizens to stay vigilant. This is the Hachinohe in Aomori Prefecture, northern Japan. You can see that shipping boat being washed up, way up inside inland. The earthquake, Edano said, hit during right in the midst of a diet session that needed this to be stopped to attend, of course, emergency plan. Edano, of course, saying he's keeping in close contact with his senior ministers to attend the situation going forward with other ministers. You're seeing live coverage of Aomori Prefecture, Hachinohe City. 2 large, obviously, fishing boats washed way up inland. Police in Miyagi Prefecture says an unknown number of people in Miyagi Prefecture, there it is, missing in Ichinomaki and Kesennuma cities, where tsunami waves swept through coastal areas inland. Many buildings and cars have been left submerged in the cities after the waves hit. Once again, police in Miyagi Prefecture, where the earthquake hit hardest, says an unknown number of people are missing in Ichinomaki and Kesennuma cities, where tsunami waves swept through coastal areas inland. Many buildings and cars have been left submerged in cities after the waves hit. You're watching our live camera in Aomori Prefecture, another prefecture in the north, in Hachinohe City. A major earthquake hitting Japan Friday afternoon. Japan's meteorological agency says the quake measured magnitude 8.4. The agency has issued a tsunami warning for Japan's Pacific coast. You're seeing a fire that is completely raging out of control. This is live coverage of an oil refinery in Chiba Prefecture, Ichihara area east of Tokyo. Live coverage of an oil refinery. The fire completely going out of control. You can see firefighters trying to water down just surrounding areas. That's probably as far as they can get close to that fire that looks like bigger than some of the surrounding buildings, completely raging out of control. Firefighters obviously not being able to contain that blaze at this time. Live footage of an inferno going pretty much out of control, with firefighters not being able to contain it in Chiba Prefecture, Ichihara area, northeast of Tokyo. The meteorological agency says a 7.3 meter tsunami, one of the largest, hit Fukushima Prefecture in northeastern Japan. In Iwate Prefecture, a tsunami of 4.1 meters struck land. The prefecture of Ibaraki, Miyagi, and Hokkaido in the north were all hit by waves of 4 meters. As this inferno goes out of control in Chiba Prefecture, we are feeling aftershocks from the large earthquake, even the studio as we speak. This is over 2.5 hours after the earthquake. We are still feeling aftershocks in our studios. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center has extended the area where tsunami waves may strike. It now includes Indonesia. Those of you who are watching this program from Indonesia, Hawaii, Australia, New Zealand, and South American Pacific coast, including Mexico, Chile, and Peru. Earlier, the center issued a warning for Japan, Russia, Marcus Islands, and Northern Marianas, Guam, Wake Island, and Taiwan. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center has extended the area where tsunami warnings may strike. Owarai in Ibaraki Prefecture, obviously a tsunami has